Hey everybody. Yes, I'm exhausted. Why? I'll introduce you to my new antidepressant. And I'm exhausted from her. Hang on a second. Come here. She's the heaviest. Here. This is Sully Ray, and she's the heaviest antidepressant I've ever had. I don't know why the color is goofy. Probably because how we're sitting. But she's my new golden retriever puppy that my fiance got me. She looks really big, but she's really super sweet and she really loves to cuddle, which makes me super happy. And she was laying down because when she's up here, it's nice and cool and she likes it that way, right? But I get her butt up farther, but she's heavy. She's 11 weeks old, and as you can see, she's a total terrorist. I like how she blinked there. That was so cute. But if I get Sasha over here, I can show you my other golden retriever. I have two, and then we have a male who's a golden doodle, but he looks just like a golden retriever. So this is my girl. I got her for my birthday. You drooling? What are you doing? She was getting into a little bit of trouble, and then I just told her to come over here, and she came and laid down. She's a really good girl. Um, no, what more can you ask for? It's gold. What woman doesn't love gold? Look at her. Okay, she's ready to get down. Hang on. You go lay back down. This is a good girl. Lay down. Lay down. It's a good girl. If I can get Sasha over here. But Sasha weighs more than our male does. And I gotta get this back in the focus. I don't know why. Look at all the issues I have. It's no wonder I gotta take all those damn pills. Not really. But I gotta get comfortable again. Now that I know I won't roll over her with my chair. And I got a piece of cat hair with that. So that's somewhat of what I've been up to. She does help with our depression. She keeps us on our toes. Go lay down. And she's wandering around. I was supposed to take a shower like 2 days ago, but there was a tragedy that happened only a few miles from here back in July, where a 18-year-old man, I hate to call him a man because a month before that he was to me a boy. He was only 17. We're finding out more about it now because they're slowly releasing information about it, but it was a police officer, a deputy, and a dispatcher. They were driving down. Our roads are pretty much out here are all country roads. And he was in the road drunk and high. And that's not an excuse because they were also drunk. I was reading the inquest, which is where they look for, I know this doesn't really have anything to do with mental illness, but it's very interesting and very fucked up. He apparently, I don't know if it was his stepmom and dad, they were having a retirement party for, I believe, the mom. I didn't see the news. I just read the actual inquest trial, which is way more detailed. And wow, what this kid went through. I'll just call him a kid because that's all he was. 18-year-olds are kids. And he was really drunk and high because marijuana is legal down here. So, big deal. So you'd think. But he was so messed up And then now I found out when we were reading this tonight that they were at the same party together. Like, because it's such a small little town, pretty much everybody was at this party. And I don't know what this woman did for her career that she was retiring from, but like everybody was there. So he ended up going to there was an after party and a couple after parties and this, that, and whatever. He ended up getting home with his girlfriend, and they lived with his dad. And he got pissed off about something, and he left. And all he was wearing was swim trunks and his underwear. He didn't even have shoes on. He didn't have a shirt on, nothing like that. Well, so this deputy and this dispatcher were in his truck driving, and I guess this young man was in the road. They don't know if he was laying down. Oh, they do know. But he was in the road because he was so fucked up. He was like probably disoriented, and I said he was probably trying to get back to the farm where he'd left his truck. Lo and behold, that's what it was. Because you could kind of read into where things were going. And this this deputy, this cop, and a dispatcher were both drunk and driving, and ended up running him over and dragging him. This was 6 months, well, July. Yeah, this was 6 months ago, I believe they said. And they had the inquest to find out if it was homicide or if it was an accident. And they determined it was homicide. Well, right before their interviews, both of them resigned. Then during the trial of the inquest, they pled the fifth. And after all this time, they're still out walking around. What? How does that work? Can you imagine? I mean, can you just imagine for a second how their family feels, how his family feels? That you hate to call it a murder, but it is, because the inquest said it was homicide. Everybody knows who did it because he went and got his truck washed afterwards. But he was so drunk that he didn't get underneath good enough that they found evidence underneath the truck. And it's just really disheartening and really makes it hard to trust law enforcement. You fuck up that bad and you're out there living your life. And everybody's calling for charges. Well, of course. In reality, it's very depressing to know that, because they're law enforcement, is that why they're getting away with this? And I use the words getting away with it loosely because they better see the day that they end up in prison. It's like, take the drunk driving charge versus homicide. And there's so many witnesses there when what we were reading, because they published this online. It's like there are people not snitching on them, but more or less saying, hey, yeah, they were doing this. I saw them doing it. They were witnesses saying what happened that night. And it's insanity. It's just pure insanity. And I remember twice now driving down, like I said, it's really close to us. And we drove past there, I know, twice now. And they have a big, I don't want to call it a shrine, but where it happened. They have a big memorial. And it's like, it's not, because it's so country out here, it's not unlike somebody to walk 30 minutes. I wouldn't. But, I mean, they determined he wasn't standing. He was either laying or crawling. The evidence is overwhelming, and yet they're free. It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Now, if it was just a John Doe, not a cop, he was a cop at the time, just not on duty. And as soon as all this shit started to hit, they both resigned. And then there was a dispatcher who, the passenger, she called the dispatcher and she's like, where are the cops? And the dispatcher, it was her first night on her own. And she's like, oh, there's no cops around. Don't worry about it. They're all in another town because there was a car accident. So they knew that there were no cops around. So they could go and continue what they were doing. And that would be cleaning up. And I know then he took his truck in the car wash and thought he got it washed. Took it home, and his wife ended up driving it over to another state, to a big city, with this evidence on it. And it's like, I can't even fathom driving a vehicle with the evidence of a, I even hesitate to call him deceased because it was homicide. They swerved, they thought it was a deer. Well, it wasn't. And maybe you should have checked. Maybe you should have went back and made sure that it was a deer. Usually when you hit a deer, you grab it by the legs and you throw it in the ditch. But, it started with David and I going back and forth of what happened. And I said, I read it 2 nights ago or last night, the details. And him and I went round and round. He thought one thing, and I said, no, I read it. So I ended up reading it out loud. And I'm so tired from reading it out loud. And I still have, in my pastime, I haven't been doing a whole lot of videos here, except videos like this that really, but I guess in my defense, I've been working on poetry. And now I have many poems done that I am going to submit them. I'm going to put them in a book, or you make a book and you submit it, and you can sell them on Amazon. And I guess it could take years before things really take off because people have to find it. But doing poetry, there's a really small niche for it, as instead of like word finds and things like that you can do. It's not a big market. So I should be able to do fairly well. I just worry about my SSI. But I'll worry about that when it comes down to it. I don't expect, I got to get this book put together, and that's going to take quite some time. And I'm going to get that. I'm excited about it because my poetry is really, really well. So I look forward to that. I don't look forward to putting the book together because I'm scared. they say put it in a certain order and put it in this. Mine's just kind of, I'm not sure really how to categorize them. And you're supposed to put a table of contents, and it's supposed to be like 40 up to 100 pages long. And I have to do a table of contents, and it's like, oh, and your titles have to be capitalized. And it's gonna take me a bit, but it's giving me something to do. It's getting me to get my mind off the weather and the winter and the depression. And I wonder how my ex-therapist is feeling about not seeing me one more time. I said, I did want to kind of see him one more time just to tell him off. But then today I found out that my old psychiatrist didn't put more meds in for me. So I had to call my new one, and they put them in for me. And then Xanax, there's like a shortage of it. They were out of stock. And I had to start calling around to find Xanax. And then they told me there wasn't even a prescription in there for me. That's like, oh, what the fuck? I'm so frustrated with that. And I'll tell you right now, it's Walgreens. Walgreens just, I know they're so big, but if you use GoodRx, Walgreens is the most expensive. And the thing is, I'm on Medicaid, so I'm not supposed to pay anything. Well, they're telling me in my new scripts that I am. And it's like, cute. So I just am exhausted. I want to get this book going. So I'm going to go. I don't really know where to start. I think they say start with a cover, and then you're supposed to do the binder, and you're supposed to, I have no idea. But I'm going to find out, and I'm going to do it because I really like my poems, and everybody really likes my poems. So that's what's up. That's my new hobby. My old hobby was this, but I'm still doing it. I might not do as many videos, but I'm not looking to get rich on anything. I'm just looking on staying halfway sane. I was supposed to take a shower, and then I started reading that in class to him, and he was playing on his phone, and it pissed me off. But he said, no, it was about something. I don't know. But we are both just kind of hanging in there and taking care of our pets, enjoying our new little puppy who's a little big. Not really. I like this age. They're not as whiny. 8-week-olds are whiny. They're just, it's like, shut up. But she's almost 4 months, and it's a nice age. They're not as whiny. They're a little bit more independent. You tell them to go outside, she goes flying out with them. And yes, she's a barn puppy. She wasn't in the house before, which is nice, because then they go, I'm not supposed to go potty in here. I'm supposed to go potty outside. So, of course, she has accidents, but that's what puppies do. She hasn't had a poop accident yet, knock on wood. But she's great. I'm a golden fanatic. That's my number one breed. And we looked at getting a black lab. But they're a little more high-strung, a little bit more, they can be more sassy. But then we get along great. So I hope you have a great weekend. It is Friday. Officially Central Daylight Time. So, yeah, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. One never knows. I never know what I'm up to. I go with the flow. So, I rhymed. Yay. Give me a break. I'm now trying to turn on all the lights and trying to get good lighting. So, I'm still playing with it after over 200 videos. I'm still messing with it because I just can't get it right. So have a good weekend and stay safe.